Hey guys, it's Michael, and we're back at my house working on my boat. I got the lower unit put back on after breaking the bolt off. It's all put back together, and I ran it on the muffs for, I don't know, maybe a couple minutes. We were still like misfiring a little bit, and I knew it was most likely the plugs. So after I get done replacing it, pull it outside, hook it up to the muffs, fire it up, kind of runs rough for a couple minutes, and then starts running great. And then all of a sudden, this dreadful noise of the squeal. And if you know anything about Optimax, it's this.
Okay, so quick update. We've pulled the fuel rail. Michael has a laptop where we're able to test everything, and the laptop's telling us it's good and we're not getting any codes. But, so we decided, well, we're going to go through and just do maintenance, replacing all the O-rings and stuff. But when we took this air regulating valve apart, if you can see, the spring is broke. See that? So this spring is cracked in two places, and as you can see, like that. In fact, you can see it on the outside right here. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. So we're going to have to order some parts, but that's very interesting. I just wanted to give you an update there. We're going to remove this. We didn't have the tool. If this is not our to video, okay? There's a tool, but we didn't have the tool, so we used our very expensive Kurt Weiss to do this. So we put it in here, trapped it, pulled them out, and then released it slowly. So be careful with that. This spring has a lot of tension on it, a lot of tension. So be careful with that, guys. Okay. So we're going to dismantle this one, then we'll do another update. So we removed the second one here, and as you can see, the diaphragm is all ate up on the outside. You'd actually see that before we removed the part. So originally we thought it wasn't installed correctly, but as you can see here, it's coming apart. So we've obviously got to replace these. So we're going to be pulling both fuel rails and basically doing a rebuild on them. I don't know if this is the problem, but it sure as hell isn't helping. So Michael's kind of stressing a little bit about this, but
Because every time he keeps it going, we need to replace this. Cha-ching! Cha-ching! And hey guys, I'm not a Mercury dealer, so I don't get anything at cost. So
yeah, so if somebody could hook us up with a nice Mercury dealer, we'd sure would appreciate it. Grumpy would be very grateful if you could hook me up with a Mercury dealer. So all you Mercury dealers that are watching me, you know, one of you all reach out, I'll wear your shirt, I'll be looking good, looking cool. So yeah, Mercury dealers, I'm available. I will prostitute myself for you. All right.
what are you doing?
I am getting ready to
Can you talk louder?
install all the parts that have arrived. Giving this one last clean off before we do that. We've got our diaphragms in, our springs and everything, so we're going to install them. This job here, do not be messing with this thing. This thing here could kill somebody. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't mess with it. Just being very honest with everybody. So we have a little Kurt Weiss over there that we're going to be using to compress it. This thing here has got a lot of force behind it, so if you don't have the tool or the right tools, don't take this apart. So this is not an how-to video. This is what we're going to do to put this back together. And cleanliness is very, very important in these situations. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to just be methodically today going through, reinstalling everything, putting it back on the boat, and testing it and hoping that it's solved our problems. Like I said before, we're learning as we go along too. So some of the video, we'll be cleaning every single little thing up and taking our time and doing it the best we can. So everything, as we go through, if there's something that's we're not happy about or isn't as clean as we would like, we'll be cleaning it up. And because we don't want no sprayed, debris or any of that kind of stuff in this thing. And so it's really critical to make sure that everything is as clean as you can, etc. I think that Michael and I both agree, probably in hindsight, would have been better off just buying the fuel rails. So, but
Too late now.
too late now. So we're going to go through, put this bad boy back together.
Make sure you have a tube of this stuff.
Yep. So some of this is just waiting on parts, and that's a big problem nowadays. I know you probably get fed up of listening to me, but plan out as much as we planned out the project. Things don't always go as planned. So make sure you have all your parts. We could have started putting this back together somewhat, but I really just wanted to sit down and focus and do it all at one time and take our time and do it the right way, following the book. There's the book here, and we will be following the instructions here, and hopefully by following these instructions we get good results. If we don't get good results, then we will go back and see where something went wrong or what we need to do to improve, and that's how we learn. So I'm going to get to work on this, so putting this together right now. So, sorry if it sounds like I'm yelling, but people have been complaining that they can't hear me. So, I apologize. So, we've installed this. You'll probably see from the video. Let me tell you something. This is pretty dangerous stuff here. This gets away from you, somebody can get hurt. We didn't have the tool. We had the vise. We used some pins to align it. We closed the vise, put the 2 screws in, then took the other 2. We were able to actually get 3 of them in and then installed the last one. We have not Loctited them. We're going to come back and take 2 of them out, Loctite it, then do the other 2. Then we've installed this. We used this stuff. I'm actually pretty impressed with this stuff. Okay, so if it says use this, I would definitely use it again. Pretty good stuff. And we use that on the diaphragm, like it said. And
You can just show them.
so this is the screwed up one, but it says to put it around the edge, which we did. Now, as you can see here, this is frayed, and that was because this was sticking out of the thing when we took it apart. I told Michael there's no way that this should be looking like this, and you shouldn't be able to see the edge, and that was been kind of proven to us through the new installation. The book shows this hole pointing towards this Schrader valve, and it can't go that way because of the bolt up. So we've rotated it around and it's pointing down on the deal. That's the only, what do you do? So the book isn't obviously perfect, so we're just using some common sense that it's probably better that this hole be pointing down rather than up, because I think that this is a drain valve. We did have
There's 2.
oh, there's 2. Gollish. Well, that's good. Well, that was a total waste of time then.
I was like, why do you keep pointing to that side?
Well,
Over
I've been stressing about that, to be honest with you, because I don't like it when it doesn't match up the book. So that's good. So now you're going to get dirt in there anyway, so we ain't going to worry about it. So I had a 50-50 chance of being right, and I was right. So don't mess around with this. This big spring will hurt you. This thing has a lot of compression on it. We're very lucky to have this is a Kurt Weiss that anybody in the machine shop business will know. 4-inch Kurt Weisses are very good, very expensive. Actually, you can buy 2 6-inches for what you can on a 4-inch. Michael's going, what's he telling them that for?
You know what? You know what that reminds me of when like Donald Trump was like, "We're the best. We use nice stuff." I feel like that's what you were just doing. We use Kurt Weisses.
No,
they're very expensive.
If we were really good, we would have bought the tool. But
Yeah.
we're on a budget because these little buggers here. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, boogers are.
These are $250 a piece, and despite what you think, Michael is not made of money. Okay, got kids, I got grandkids. My wife is spending my retirement on my grandkids, but that's okay. We're having fun. So, these things are very expensive. So we installed this side. I like to use this Parker O-ring seal stuff. This is as old as Michael is. Put a little bit of dab of that on the O-ring that's in here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go through, pull 2 out, put some Loctite on, snug them down. We're not going to torque them down, and then we'll torque them all down to the correct specification all at one time.
This O-ring is a very specific O-ring that you have to order from Mercury. If you take this O-ring down to an O-ring shop, they will not give you the right O-ring.
The other thing is, it seems like they have redesigned this O-ring. If you look there on this,
That's the old one.
that's the old one. You can see where it's frayed. The new O-ring has the right cross section, but it's slightly bigger on the ID. And I think that was done to stop this from happening.
Part number for that O-ring is right here.
So anyway, that's just a little update. We're going to get back after this now because I really would like to have this together today. And we'll take it from here, see what happens.
Is it taco time?
Not yet, no. I installed this here,
Cool.
and I've just installed that in the wrong place. So we're installing sorry, I'm waiting for an email from Europe. We're installing the injectors. We put a minute amount of this Parker stuff on these. I mean, a minute amount. A little goes a long way. It helps the O-rings go in, like so. Doesn't cut any O-rings. Just kind of helps lubricate the O-ring as it goes in. But you don't need much. This here is got to be 30 years old. So just a little goes a long, long way. Okay, so we've installed the injectors. There's a little bit of confusion again in the book versus what we've seen. So we've gone with what we've seen instead of by the book. There seems to be a couple of discrepancies. I mean, nothing major, but I guess it really doesn't make a big difference. I tend to get a little bit. I just like things to be precise, but. Anyway, so we've got all these in place. Michael has been working on the air injectors over there. I'm going to install the O-rings on this. This area here is where we had big problems. This was, if you remember, of course I never know if you get to see it, but this is the one that had the broken O-ring. So we're going to get the new O-rings on, and we'll be using some of my favorite Parker lube. Parker lube. I don't know if you can get this anymore, but this stuff is really good for your O-rings. So if you get your hands on some, if you're doing a lot of installations, it's well worth it. Down at the racetrack, we've used Vaseline, believe it or not. It works pretty good. This stuff here is a lot better though. So the game plan is to get this all back together, and it's been raining very badly here, so we're hoping we get a dry spell where we can test this here in a little bit. So that's the update for right now, and we'll keep you posted.
Alrighty.
Okay, so the injectors are back on with the air injectors, and the everything's connected. We've still got to put a clamp on here,
Oh yes.
so we've got to put the clamp on here.
Yeah,
We're going to be replacing this hose once we've finished with all the troubleshooting. One of the things that we did notice that just like to add in, although there's like 4 of these clamps on here, it might be an idea to actually number them for where they go, because we had one that wanted a particular clamp. I don't know why, but it did, so we had to come back and switch them around. But if you look at them, they should be identical, and we didn't want to start modifying anything. There's no need for that, so we did have to switch some of those around just because we had one that didn't want to go. You don't force it, you definitely don't force. This is aluminum, you don't want to force your threads or anything. So if it's not going together, just take that extra little bit of time to double check it and make sure it's right. Michael's going to replace these. Well, there's kind of like one that needs to be replaced. You get these on Amazon. Get the good ones with the O-rings on. The reason why we're doing that is some of these have already started to corrode, and I don't want to start some more electrolysis. We've been working hard on the motor, getting it back looking the way it should. Obviously, once we have it running good, we'll be removing all the labels, and then we'll be doing our usual Mealey Marine detail job. So the next step is to get it outside, and we're going to hook it up to our auxiliary fuel tank, and then we're going to start her up, and fingers crossed we've solved the problems. If not, there are some troubleshooting procedures that we would have to go through. We did not adjust these air diaphragms. We may have to. If we have to, we've got to get the tool to do it. So like I said, Michael's on a little bit of a budget here, so we're going to see if the original settings are close enough that we don't have a problem. The only one that probably would be a problem is this one here, where we had to put the new spring in. So we're kind of taking the theory that it can't run any worse than it was. We're still going to rebuild the fuel pump, air diaphragm pump, and the air pump, but we're not going to do that right now because we're going to start it up and see if our works over here is good. If it's good, then we will proceed on to those. If it's not good, then we'll probably have to order the specialized tool to double check that we have the correct pressures. So that's the update. Can't say enough about that Parker O-ring stuff, and I can't say enough about the Teflon grease that they told us to get. Really helped put it together. that's all I've really got. Just keep everything clean. You noticed this morning we had a good clean table. It's not clean anymore. It's not organised, but we did start out organised, and then as the day went on, it got a little less organised. So I guess we'll be updating you here in a second with either good news or not so good news. Have a good day.
What do you think?
It's really good. It's really good. Obviously very happy. Started up on the first hit. Still think we've got a problem with that plug on number 3. So still got a little more tuning to do, but compared to how it was, it's running good. And you've got to remember we're running off an auxiliary tank, so we've got some other things we've got to do.